Have you ever noticed that time seems to move faster every year? When you were a child, a single summer felt endless. Waiting for your birthday felt impossible. Christmas seemed like it would never arrive. A school year felt like an eternity. But now, you blink and suddenly another month is gone. Another year has passed. And before you know it, you're wondering where the last decade went. What's happening? Why does life seem to speed up as we get older? Is time actually moving faster, or is something happening inside our minds? The answer is fascinating. Because this strange phenomenon isn't happening in the world around you, it's happening inside your brain, and understanding why could completely change the way you experience your life. Take a moment and think back to your childhood. Think about being 7 years old. Remember how long a single year felt. Think about waiting for summer vacation, waiting for your birthday, waiting for a special event. Everything felt far away. Days felt longer. Weeks felt longer. Even boring afternoons seemed to stretch forever. Now compare that to today. How quickly did the last year pass? How quickly did the last month pass? Many people feel shocked when they realize another year is ending. It's almost as if time is accelerating. But here's the first important thing to understand. Time itself is not changing. Every day still contains 24 hours. Every hour still contains 60 minutes. The clocks haven't changed. The calendar hasn't changed. The universe hasn't changed. What has changed is your perception. And your perception of time is far more flexible than you might think. One of the most popular explanations involves something surprisingly simple: proportion. Imagine you're 5 years old. At that age, 1 year represents 20% of your entire life. That's a huge amount of experience. It's a massive chunk of everything you've ever known. Now imagine you're 50 years old. 1 year represents only 2% of your life. Compared to everything you've already experienced, 1 year feels much smaller. Think about it this way. Imagine someone gives you $1. If you only have $5, that extra dollar feels significant. But if you already have $100, another dollar barely changes anything. Some researchers believe your brain may experience time in a similar way. As you age, each passing year becomes a smaller fraction of your overall life. And because of that, it feels shorter. But while this theory is interesting, it doesn't fully explain why time seems to accelerate. The deeper answer lies in the way your brain creates memories. And this is where things become really interesting. Your brain loves novelty. It craves new experiences, new places, new people, new challenges, new discoveries. When something is new, your brain pays attention, a lot of attention. It becomes alert, focused, curious. And when your brain pays attention, it records more information. It creates stronger memories. Think about your childhood again. Almost everything was new. Your first day at school, your first best friend, your first bicycle, your first family vacation, your first time seeing the ocean, your first video game, your first pet, your first heartbreak, your first achievement. Every year was filled with experiences your brain had never encountered before. As a result, your brain was constantly creating new memories. It was constantly paying attention, constantly learning, constantly exploring. Life felt rich with detail. Now think about adulthood. For many people, life becomes more predictable. You wake up, go to work, drive the same roads, see the same buildings, talk to the same people, follow the same routines, eat similar meals, watch similar content, and then repeat. Day after day, week after week, month after month. Your brain begins to recognize patterns. It already knows what to expect. And because it knows what to expect, it stops paying close attention. Instead of carefully recording every detail, it switches into efficiency mode, autopilot mode. This saves mental energy, but it comes with a surprising side effect. Life begins to feel faster. Have you ever driven somewhere and realized you barely remember the trip? You arrived safely, you followed the road correctly, you stopped at the right lights, yet you have very little memory of the journey itself. That's because your brain was operating largely on autopilot. The route was familiar, nothing seemed new. Nothing demanded your attention. And because your attention wasn't fully engaged, fewer memories were created. The same thing can happen with months, even years. When your life becomes highly repetitive, your brain creates fewer memorable moments. And when you look back, there are fewer mental landmarks separating one period from another. Everything begins to blur together. This creates an incredible illusion, the illusion that time is moving faster. But in reality, what you're experiencing is a memory shortage. The less your brain remembers, the shorter a period of time feels when you look back on it. Imagine 2 different years. In the first year, you travel somewhere new. You learn a skill. You meet new people. You explore unfamiliar places. You challenge yourself. You experience many firsts. In the second year, every day looks almost identical. Same routines, same environment, same schedule. Which year do you think will feel longer when you remember it? Almost everyone chooses the first year. And that's because the first year contains more memories, more unique experiences, more moments that stand out, more mental landmarks. The second year feels shorter because there are fewer memorable events for your brain to reference. This means something remarkable. The length of your life isn't determined solely by the amount of time that passes. It's also determined by how many meaningful memories you create. And that's why childhood often feels so long. Not because time moved slower, but because everything was new. Everything was exciting. Everything was worth paying attention to. Children live in a world filled with discovery. Adults often live in a world filled with familiarity. And familiarity can make life feel like it's rushing past. But here's the good news. You can influence this. You can actually make life feel longer. Not by adding more years, but by changing how you experience them. One of the most effective ways is to introduce novelty into your life. Travel somewhere you've never been. Learn a language. Start a hobby. Read about something completely unfamiliar. Take a different route home. Meet new people. Challenge your assumptions. Do things that force your brain to wake up and pay attention. Because attention is the secret ingredient. Attention creates memories, and memories shape your perception of time. Think about vacations. While you're on vacation, the days often seem to fly by. Yet when you return home and reflect on the experience, the trip feels surprisingly long. Why? Because so much happened. Your brain created countless new memories, and those memories stretch your perception of time when you look back. The same principle applies to life itself. The more experiences you create, the richer your memory becomes. And the richer your memory becomes, the fuller your life feels. Perhaps that's the real lesson hidden inside this mystery. Maybe the goal isn't to find more time. Maybe the goal is to experience more of the time we already have. Because one day, all of us will look back on our lives. And when we do, we won't measure our lives in hours. We won't measure them in calendars. We won't measure them in years. We'll measure them in memories, in adventures, in discoveries, in moments that mattered. Maybe that's why childhood feels so long. Because every day felt like an adventure. Every experience felt important. Every moment felt new. And maybe the secret to slowing down life isn't impossible after all. Maybe it's simply learning to become curious again, to pay attention again, to explore again. Because when you do, life doesn't actually become longer, but it starts to feel like it is.